Welcome to the first BSDF1 chatting video. We're going to have a little chat about where Ferrari is going at the moment, because it's pretty insane how they went from a championship rival to, you know, finishing
in the mud.
Out of the points. In the mud, literally. Leclerc was in the mud. So yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, lads? Like, Ferrari, what has happened?
It's sad because, like Seb said a couple of years ago, everybody is a Ferrari fan deep down.
Yeah, love red.
Yeah, everyone loves red. But deep down, when you see like Leclerc have an issue on Sunday, this is an Australian Grand Prix. If you're watching later on in the year, it's just sad because you think, oh god, that's another team that could be fighting near the top, and you know Leclerc can bring it to Max, and you just want to see
should be fighting near the top.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just sad to see such a great team just, not doing well.
Yeah.
And Leo, like, you probably noticed that more than anyone, being a fan for like 17,000 years, how great they were.
It's clear to see the frustration because, look, you've got Sainz sending up the inside of Alonso. You've got Leclerc wiping out Stroll. They're making moves that, you know, okay, Sainz would usually just pitch straight into the gravel, but now he's
other cars.
Others. But there's a lot of frustration there you can see boiling over, and I kind of feel sorry for Fred Vasseur,
Fred Vasseur,
because you've then got
speech
impediment. Leave me alone.
Cancelled.
Bullying. But yeah, no, I feel sorry for him because he's got.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? It is a shame that he's come into a team that's very clearly got a lot of holes to plug, and what's he going to start plugging them with? Basically, I mean, he's already got rid of chief strategist, if I believe.
Well, it's not get rid of is the wrong phrase, because they've not removed anybody. They've put them somewhere else in the business.
Demoted, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I wouldn't even say that. I think they've literally got their chessboard and then moved their king and queen into like completely different positions.
Castling, mate. That's what that's called. Yeah, castling.
They're castling Ferrari position with Mugello. They're literally moving people around. And some of that is from last year. Some of that is Fred, but obviously Fred's not going to make these kind of like big plays very early on unless he sees something really bad. But Fred did this in Renault a couple of years ago and didn't get the result he wanted and then left. He walked out of the door. So if it doesn't work at Ferrari, you can assume that Fred might do the same there. But this boils back years and years and years, probably pre-Vettel as well. And I think Vettel made it probably public how mismanaged and not a great racing team they had become from the past, obviously.
I think they're so stuck in their old ways, though, that there's no changing them. They're such an old-fashioned team. You know what I mean? Like, the difference between them and how far forward, like, they're like some McLaren have moved. I'm not saying
use Mercedes and Red Bull. They're prime examples. They're young teams with
I'm talking about
historical.
McLaren, like McLaren, you know, it's a lot more historical, but a lot more like what's the word?
Modern.
Look at their social media, for example. So they've moved forward. Okay, standards wise, they're not there, but they've moved forward. Yeah, Mercedes moved forward. Red Bull moved forward. They just don't seem to want to change.
I mean, a really good point with that as well, that this is the first ever lineup Ferrari have had with no world champions in their lineup. That was a requirement. Ferrari had to have a world champion. They don't have a world champion. They don't really have a leader. I like Leclerc. Is he a leader? Is Sainz a leader? Like Vettel was. Like, I don't know, you could say Raikkonen to an extent. Obviously, Schumacher. You're going back in further the past. Look at what Alain Prost did with Ferrari. You know, called them right out on all their bullshit. So,
that just shows you, though,
and I think Vettel did that, but
it shows you, though, their culture problem stems way back to those days as well. And obviously, when you're winning, it's easy to cover those up. But the times where they were winning, they had a performance team that was just more than the drivers. You look back at Ross Brawn and Jon Tott, And those days, like, that was mega. But that was the racing team doing really well. And I still think there was that inter-team sort of between the main brand and the racing team that was connected. But there was, because they were winning so much, they could sort of say, well, we're going to do our own thing anyway. We've got our own things going on. We're not going to be labelled with like the main brand and like all the politics that goes with it.
Yeah.
But because they're not winning, and then you've got the Italian media on their backs as well, which I think makes things 20 times harder.
Tifosi, passionate fans, which is a great and bad thing.
Imagine Monza this year, how that's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
If they've not improved.
Well, even Imola, to an extent.
Yeah, I was going to say that's soon, isn't it, as well? But it's not looking good for them.
What do you reckon? Here's a bit of an interesting one for you both. So, last time Ferrari had absolute dominance was obviously Michael Schumacher. Michael Schumacher joined Ferrari, Leo, correct me if I'm wrong, in 1995? Or 97?
Let me fact check that.
That's something.
Oh no, someone's
Damon
typing.
Hill won a championship in '96. Oh, that should have been my muffled keyboard typing.
Oh,
that's good though. That's like the typewriter going in.
God's sake.
Yeah. So with Leo's microphone has now completely removed itself, like mine has done before. But
Jos Verstappen.
The point I'm kind of getting on, digressing from this, from when he was joined Ferrari, he built that team up for a very, very, very long time. He wasn't with Ferrari winning races, bang. He was in a car that was best for like 8th place, and he was testing with the team, spending them sleepless nights with the team. Yes, back then you could go on having your private thing in Maranello, where you could just drive around. In the Schumacher documentary, where he's like, to develop the SF 2004 lineage, which come up to one of the most ridiculously amazing cars ever created, was like 20 hours worth of testing. 20,000 hours or something like that worth of testing, where it's just every day pushing everything in. 20,000 might be an exaggeration, but real numbers are not in my head. But
comments,
when it was, actually, Josh, it was a lot less than that. I have you know.
And funny enough, that won't be any random viewer. That will just be Leo.
Yeah, that's gonna be Leo. Yeah, Leo on an auto account. Leo, unmute your mic.
Unmute yourself.
It's not muted.
There you go. That's it. That's the one.
No, still.
He's muted
Why
it again.
am I muted? I don't know why I was muted.
Oh no!
Sorry,
it was the keyboard that got it.
Sorry, two things.
Still muted.
I mean, we do enjoy the talking.
1996, he joined.
Leo, try and get the problem sorted.
Secondly,
and then we'll get back to you. We're sorry about a technical issue on that one, listeners.
Classic.
I do think the unlimited testing helped Ferrari. I think having such a strong character like Michael Schumacher also really helped him, where he got that team and he made that team. I can't see Leclerc or Sainz building a team. Vettel tried to, but I think Vettel tried to in a time period which it didn't work anymore. You know, Vettel was trying to get this team built around him, like Schumacher, his idol, and he's doing his idol's thing, but I don't think Vettel had that push to be able to get that car and get that team behind him. The team was churning through team principles like it was hot knife through butter.
It's still going on, though, really, isn't it? Like, it's still there.
It's still not. Was it Stefano Domenicali? I can't remember when he left, but he was after Tot, I think, wasn't he? He was through the Felipe Massa days, yeah. And then after that, Franco de Montezemolo, was it? Because I know he came in and he was butchered it. But I know there's been a lot of... Yeah, there was a few butchers. No, it's not just red for the paint, it's red for the blood.
Yeah.
But I think they've probably really struggled to kind of get that back on track since then. And like we've said, stuck in the past and all that sort of stuff. What would you reckon with that? One of your takes, not about Leo with his microphone yet, but one of your takes on the... Do you reckon Ferrari would need like a whole unlimited testing thing to get themselves back up? Do you think they need a team builder? Someone really strong to lead the team, build it around them.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think this needs loads of testing. They've clearly got something that works. Like the car is fast.
Yeah.
So they've got one thing. I mean, they've still got their demons from last year with this style of design of car with high tire deck, and maybe now a few issues with their engine potentially. But again, we don't know. There's 21 races to go. Like last year, Max had all these engine issues, and then by the end, he was winning everything. And it could be shades of last year for a Ferrari. It could go, like literally spin like that for a Ferrari, and they could win every race until the end of the year. I think, to be honest, we've spoken about this many times when we start churning about Formula One stuff.
Oh, you got echo. Leo. Put your bloody headphones in your computer. Oh, the technical issues.
I think the main problem for them is
BSDF.
a culture problem they have at Ferrari. Too much internal politics. I've seen many issues talked about their main company brand getting too involved with the racing team, especially when Bonotto is there. I think they might have seen, because there's been quite a lot of changes with like the chief financial officers and the directors of the main company getting all their grubby fingers into the racing team. And you're like, mate, do you really know how to run a racing team? Like, this is quite an important thing for your brand. Like, in the past, Formula One was the reason why you built road cars, to make sure you can continue go racing at the weekend.
Good point. Good point.
And I don't think, like we've spoken about McLaren a few times on the pod, connecting the dots, that I think they're trying to do too many things again with Ferrari. I think it's from what they did in the past, it's the other way around. So they build road cars. They go racing to build road cars, or vice versa, or whatever I'm trying to say. And it's not working because they're trying to force it when it should be natural. Like they've got the wrong leadership teams and they've got the wrong people in the wrong roles. Like, for example, strategy. What the hell is going on with your strategy department? How can Red Bull and Aston Martin get it so right week on week on week? And then, okay, we can throw Mercedes in sometimes for this because they're reliant too much on that German data. But Ferrari, it seems like they just go on gut feeling. Like, we think there might be a safety car now. All right, we're going to pit a lap before. Why?
Yeah.
Like, Jeddah this year was
but they've been like that for years. A while.
So,
what do you reckon? What do you think, Leo? Now you're back.
It's a leadership problem. Yeah, it's a leadership problem. Like you said, you had John Todd, you had Ross Brawn, you had leaders not just in the car but outside the car. Right? They haven't got that. I mean, this job is massive for Fred generally because he's gone from Sauber to Ferrari, which is a massive jump. You've got no leaders in the car. You've got Leclerc, who is a great young driver still, and you've got Sainz, who at best he's a second driver.
But true.
That kills saying that.
But it's true though. I think everyone knows it's true.
Yeah. But yeah, like strategy, when they were having those battles with Mercedes back in like 2017, 2018, those strategy problems screwed them over again. So but it's not changed. There's not been a change there. So it's
do you think the leadership comes from the driver, or do you think it's team principle, or do you think, like Josh said, it's a entire organisation leadership issue?
I think, to be honest, that kind of question,
problem with that.
You can answer it. It starts at the top and then trickles down. Like, there's no business in the world which has a terrible, well, apart from Tesla, have a terrible CEO / like boss, and good leadership always trickles down. And clearly at Ferrari for a very long time, maybe like. I don't know the facts for this, but when it was owned by the name of Ferrari and like the family, when it became public to the Italians or even shareholders, might have been when the downfall came for the brand itself, and as a result of that, the race team. I don't know
the family is still involved, right? What's the Ferrari at the moment losing? I don't think he. Obviously, they still own a lot of stake in the company.
No, I think I think it's like a privately owned company now.
Privately owned, yeah.
Like McLaren was, or is now. And it wasn't in the past. And I don't know how long ago that was. But you can imagine people like Mattia Binotto, they were removed from their job, even though I wouldn't say he did particularly a bad job at Ferrari. Like, I think he was one of the better ones.
They need a finger, didn't they, to point at?
Yeah, exactly. And that kind of thing only comes across from board meetings. Like, you have to sack someone because there's bad results. And like, look, this year at McLaren, done exactly that. Zach Brown is saying things like, oh yeah, it was performance related from last year, but clearly there's results that are bad in 2023 and it led to a guy's sacking.
Do you know what? That's hilarious, because I was just about to link straight back into McLaren, because that's where a lot of these historical teams seem to have issues. So the thing, McLaren and Leo will remember this clearly, with McLaren were pointing the finger at the Honda engine being the reason why they were so bad. Is the Honda engine. Yeah. Get rid of the Honda engine. We could have any other engine. You could have a Renault engine and we'll be quicker. And then they weren't. And they suddenly thought, well, hang on. Maybe it is our aero design. Maybe it is the chassis. Maybe it is our car development and way we've gone. Maybe Alonso, the reason why he was so jaded, I'm not sticking up for him. I am. But
Leo won't take it. Leo
was so jaded.
Taking it.
Take this on the chin, Leo. Come on, take on the chin. But maybe the reason why he was so jaded is because maybe Alonso was going into meetings and being like, look, this is where we need to develop a car. McLaren are going, yeah, we know. We're developing that. Like, you know, when you go in as an employee to management, you give them an idea and they go, yeah, we'll look at that. Yeah, and they go, is this clown? He thinks he knows how to build a car. He just can drive it. We know how to build cars. We're McLaren. Of course we know how to build cars.
At the same time, though, looking at recent history... I can see
that happening with Ferrari.
Recent history speaks a little bit like that at Mercedes currently, though, as well, with what's happening with Lewis.
Yeah.
They had a really successful period, like the Ferrari Schumacher days. And all of a sudden it's not, and it's all blaming on the team and the people who's driving it, like that kind of era as well. So shades of...
There's a very interesting thing, and I won't cover this too much, but it does segue to exactly what you were just saying about there. On the Drive to Survive recent season, I haven't watched or finished watching it because I stopped caring halfway through.
Christian Horner
had Christian's holiday special.
I can't wait for the Christmas one. Oh my god, that should be there. Oh, like a 1 hour special.
He's got to do it.
Christian's holiday.
The 1 hour special. Oh, they're just opening presents in the mansion that they live in. And Christian's just like, who's your favourite driver? Every minute. But yeah, so it's not Max. What are you talking about?
I love how Ferrari is
as always, somehow,
classic.
Always divulges. But yeah, so I can't remember what I was saying. It got into that much of a... So Christian Horner said something on there really quite prominent with Toto Wolff showing a very vulnerable side, because Toto Wolff's usually very calm and collected, but he's not, and he's showing a very vulnerable state because they're fighting back up. They need to get back. They've had an embarrassment. They looked like chumps last year. They look a bit like chumps this year. They're dead set on sticking to this philosophy. No, we're Mercedes and we can sort it out. All well and good, but you didn't. You know, what are you seeing in a wind tunnel with numbers that the drivers clearly aren't seeing on the racetrack, where, you know, points are awarded on the racetrack, not in a wind tunnel? And I think coming back full circle...
Yeah, I was going to say, Mercedes, they are far too reliant on data and how the sim works and all that kind of stuff. Whereas Ferrari, on the other hand...
do you think...
Go on. I'd say Ferrari, on the other hand, literally just go... Let's have a really good pen and let's do this and the passion and all. Like, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, there he is. It
doesn't happen.
Josinzo coming out there.
And
Constanto.
Top Gear made a really good, funny point back in the day with Lamborghini being bought by Audi. The Italians only do the design and the way it looks. Audi do everything else. If they had even, 10% of Mercedes sort of like race intelligence that they bring, they would probably find that they would do far better on their strategy calls and far better on their tyre sort of analysis for the weekend, because it just feels like they're just slightly off on everything. And you think, if average Joe fans can see it, surely someone at Ferrari can see it. And if they are seeing it, obviously the board members are seeing it, because that's why they're sacking people.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. Ferrari is a big topic. I think there's a lot more to divulge into Ferrari and what they are struggling with, basically, and where they're struggling, how they can pick it up and get better. But we've got to close up this video. So just a quick point from each one of you. I think we've all agreed that it's the main organisation. What could they do to make that better? Josh? Oh, yeah, been the whole team. Burn them. Replace him with Red Bull third team. Daughter team. Yeah. That's what we do.
Toro Rosso, Italian.
Call it Bull Red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rosso, Toro.
Toro Rosso, Alpha Tauri, and Red Bull. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll work beautifully.
Love it.
No, go on. Give me a little thing.
Do you know what? It's like looking at the sun. It's almost too big and too scary to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know where to start. If I was Fred, if I was simply just him and not anything else in there, the first thing that you can do is fix the strategy calls department. I think their car's fast to make a decent dent between the Aston and Mercedes. Probably not the Red Bull, but maybe on their day, like Leclerc can give it to him.
Yeah.
But I think you can make some really serious calls with the strategy department and the internal hierarchy. Like that guy with Lawrence Mekanez, really cool hair, glasses. Like, he's been touted to move to Aston Martin. Like, you got to stop doing that. You got to stop letting good people go. You got to keep them, or look for good people in other teams. Like McLaren are going for a massive hiring spree from Aston Martin and Red Bull. Ferrari got to do the same. They can't look within every time and hire up. They need to bring somebody else in. Like Fred. Fred is a really positive step. Yeah. And I just hope for his sake that he doesn't get let go at the end of the season, or he walks, because I think that he could do well. Just needs the support.
Yeah. No,
I think it. But I've got a question for you guys, just to literally wrap up the thing. So when we completely fuck this video up with our predictions, where do we think they're going to finish in the constructors' table this year in 2023?
P4.
P4. Wow. I'm going to change. I'm going to be different, and I'm going to go P3.
P3. P4.
Yeah, Aston drop it. They can't do it all year. They can't keep up with this.
I reckon I can. I think on that amazing bombshell, it's time to end the video. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening. More of these short form topics and conversations are something we're going to do a little bit more often to get some more content out there for you guys, all you listeners and watchers out there. Don't forget, as always, to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Send this to your friends if they also like Formula One and want to keep up on some news, because we do absolutely zero research and just talk out our asses. Thank you again for watching, everyone. Hope you see you in the next one, a classic. See you later, everyone.